this again. What are we doing today? Let's get this thing installed because it's been sitting here doing nothing for too long. Been a week. So we're going to install this in, I call it the trash garden, and it's going to storm tonight, so I got to go quick on this. We're doing quick and dirty, fill the bed, plant stuff later in case it does hail as predicted tonight and tomorrow. So everything you need to know. Cheaply fill a bed using stuff you already have. Let's go.
If you're like me, you haven't touched this space in a year, so you're going to have to clear out a bunch of stuff before you can install your raised bed. I cut down some volunteer mulberry, and I'm pulling up all of this sedum and iris that I will relocate somewhere else.
Bonus iris. I've been just moving stuff over here when I don't know where to put it. So I don't know what a lot of this is. I don't know what color these irises are. Pretty sure I got them at the curb. All right. We've cleared the space for our raised bed. This gets like no light in the morning, which not great. That doesn't seem like a long-term growth position. It's not like hard shade, it's filtered. This might be my best spot. Seems like it makes the most sense there. Gets some great sun still. There's room for another one if I want to add it. Can have the trellis. I think that's probably our winner. Oh, do we want this? She's not getting much sun there. That's okay. Let's do it. In my previous raised beds, I would clear all of the grass out because I thought you needed to do that. And in this case, I will be adding a bunch of extra stuff just to bulk it out. So I chose this location because it gets a little better light than right here, where I had initially tried planting things before. Not in a bed, obviously, but this gets a little better light and it's out of the way because there's a sidewalk purpose to this zone. There's not actually a sidewalk, so I'm leaving that area exposed for pedestrians, and it gets pretty good light. I think it'll be fine. Good enough to accommodate the traffic, but with room to expand to lower light if I want to later. So currently the plan, do not use any store-bought compost for this. I'm gonna fill it with stuff I've got already. Cardboard, wood chips, plant droppings, things I've harvested from the space already. So probably start with a bunch of junk and then put the big box on top of it. I'm not really worried about blocking any of this stuff out. I don't think it's worth it. Mostly I want to create a level-ish surface to put the wood chips on. So we'll start with this, all honeysuckle. Hopefully it won't root and have a honeysuckle bed. It's gonna use up a lot of space. There's thistle, a million roly-polies. I'm not using that box because there's glue in it. Level-ish. Mash it in. Just to get a little base going. I'm avoiding using one giant slab because I want water to be able to flow out. I'll just puzzle it in. This should definitely decompose quick enough. It's a nice piece of virgin cardboard. No dye. Came from a snow shovel. Things I would not line my bed with. Rocks. Plastic. Styrofoam, whatever. Any non-organic material. Even the wood chips feels risky, but I've got it, so we're gonna do it. Pretty good. This stuff's been breaking down for a while. I've had it in a pile. Maybe, is it a month? There's ants everywhere. I don't know if I'll do more than one. I don't want to overdo it. It's nice wood chip. They're pretty fine. There are some big chunks. Lots of ants. Quick. I think before I add another section of wood chips, I'm going to assess my inventory of compost. I'll use my feet. Who cares? Don't look at that Band-Aid on my sump pump hose. I would never. So maybe one more. It's going to be hopefully like a moisture battery. All these chips will hold water that can then seep into the soil. There's going to be a lot of rain soon, I think. Pretty good fill on it already. This would be like 12 bags of compost, between $5 to $10 each. So worth it. Even if that means less growing space right now, once this stuff breaks down, it'll still be a nice deep bed. I'm not going to have any, I don't know, I might plant tomatoes, but the kind of things I'm going to put in here. Oh, there's a worm. A woodworm. Good for him. Already at home. I'm not going to plant anything with delicate roots. I'm not planting carrots. It's mostly going to be kind of surface level stuff anyway, or tough enough that it can get through not ideal soil. So I might go fill, I think I would need 3 wheelbarrows full of compost for this. I already can tell I don't have enough compost, so I might do one more load of the wood chips. It's pretty fine. I think it would break down fast. My concern is that it continues to compost and heats up too much, enough to damage roots. Maybe I'll do half and then have one. That actually might be a good idea. I'll do 1/2 mostly wood chip and 1/2 mostly compost.
I got carried away with the wood chips, so I have to bail a few out. I just used it to fill that hole from the plants I relocated. And when I leveled out the second round of chips, I tried to put it in a bit of a incline so there's a variance of depth, just in case adding this many wood chips was a bad idea. Pretty good.
All right, so unsifted compost going on the less wood chip side. Just more filler. So there's a lot of big chunks in here still. Lots of pill bugs. So this kind of stuff, they're paper, so I'm gonna leave them. It'll take a while before this breaks down, but it's gonna be a while before anything's really rolling in here. All right, so half a wheelbarrow got me to the same level as the wood chips. Mash it a little bit. I don't want everything to just directly flow out as soon as it rains. Things will mash down, especially if we're getting severe weather tonight. Okay, yeah, it's really kind of losing it on this side. Just so we have a nice base structure. I don't want everything to erode in one direction once it starts getting hit with water. Okay, this corner is saggy, but that's okay. Thinking maybe another batch of unsifted on this side, and then a final layer sifted on the top. So here's what we got. Definitely room for a lot more compost. I didn't take a huge dent out of my pile, so we'll keep at it. Last second idea to use these grass clippings. Got a bunch of grass clippings. Throwing them in. More bulk. Breaks down even faster. These are already shredded, which just saves me a lot of time. Pick out the trash. So hopefully it's shredded enough that it will still let water flow to the bottom. If it's not shredded, they can form like a mat that just cuts out the flow. Or compost. Still unsifted. A lot of chunks. Going through a lot. There are just slabs of cardboard in here. So many roly-polies. I probably won't plant anything in here for a while. It's quite full. For free. Basically full. $0. Pretty nice compost. Aside from all the chunks, I'll work around them. Mash it down again. Ooh, the grass clippings really mashing down. Definitely gonna need more. I don't see anything wrong with partially filling a raised bed, so you can just add later. But I've got the compost, so I'm gonna do it, since it is mostly wood chips. If this were straight compost, I'd probably just plant now. You wouldn't even tell. It's half wood chips, half grass clippings, half compost. All right, so another load of that. This is my last load of compost. It's still unsifted, but I've gotten through most of the chunks in the existing pile, so it's pretty fine already. So I'm just gonna throw it all over the top. As full as it gets is how full it's gonna get. I know stuff's gonna compress over time, so I'll just keep adding to it. I'll do my best to mound things up when I'm planting so I don't end up burying them as I top it off. So final round, then I'm gonna feed it and let it sleep for a little bit, and I'll get planting out soon. I haven't planted anything yet in my other garden, so I'm not rushing this. I'd rather let this get settled, maybe a week, I don't know, just enough to let everything that lives here currently move on so I don't have to fight the pill bugs. But pretty full. Not bad. So much junk in here. That's okay. We're not going for glamour. And maybe stuff like that doesn't need to be here, but I did have a lot of compost. There are so many pill bugs. So hopefully they'll move. All right. Tuck some of that
Tuck some of that. Maybe they can eat that. See what we got. There are my residents. Portable compost unit. Oh, they're everywhere. It didn't seem as bad in the first loads, and I started going into the further points of my pile. Wow. They are everywhere. So I'm glad I'm letting this fester a few days. Just let them move on, most of them, hopefully. I don't know. Maybe we just share it. They're growing there too. You don't have to just grow food. You can grow families. All right, so that's good enough for me. To feed the bed and just inoculate it with some extra microbes, I mixed up some LAB with filtered water. I'm just gonna soak it down a bit with this. I use LAB in my compost already, so this is really just kind of a just because measure. I think this is inoculated with many microbes already. But just to give it a little drink, little snack. There's a big bee over here. Hi, big guy. Now, since I'm not going to be using this for a while, cover it up. Maybe keep some weed seeds out. Although, with those pill bugs, probably not giving them any reason to leave with this nice shade. New matter to break down. I'll have to weigh it down. Especially with all the wind we're going to get later. Grab some big rocks. So there we are. Free-filled raised bed. Wood chips, dead sticks, dead leaves, homemade compost, little touch of LAB, and we'll tuck it in. So we'll let this sleep and then see what's possible with it. I'm excited. I'm glad to expand my space into a new realm. I'm growing outward from my yard. I don't know if this is this guerrilla gardening? Technically it's my space, but it does feel like a sort of public use access. So I don't know, morally I feel fine to do this. Okay, it's getting too windy. So storm's rolling in. Hope this guy holds up okay. And we'll check on it after. I'm glad you could tag along. I hope you can fill your beds for free. I hope they prove fruitful. I hope this proves fruitful. And that's the end for me. I'm gonna hunker down for our 2-day storm outbreak. All of you in the Tornado Alley area, thinking of you. We're here in the thick of it as well, so stay tuned for the next one, and I'll see you later. There she is. She's sleeping. There she is. Maybe trellis around the back? Probably not. Rest easy, girl.